The Battle of Los Angeles. What did they see? In the early hours of February 25, 1942, air raid sirens echoed across Los Angeles. Panic spread as anti-aircraft guns opened fire into the night sky. For hours, searchlights scanned the darkness, and more than 1,400 shells were fired. But no enemy aircraft was ever confirmed. No bombs fell. No wreckage was found. The incident became known as the Battle of Los Angeles. Newspapers published photos showing beams of light focused on an object hidden in the clouds. Witnesses reported strange lights moving slowly across the sky, too controlled to be weather balloons, too silent to be planes. The official explanation was vague. It was all a false alarm, possibly triggered by a weather balloon. But many didn't buy it, including military personnel who described objects that changed direction mid-air, hovered, or vanished without a sound. Some believed it was a Japanese reconnaissance mission. Others suspected experimental German technology. And for a few, it marked the first true UFO encounter in American history. The US government never provided a solid answer. The target of all that firepower remains unknown. What exactly happened that night over Los Angeles still has no clear explanation. Yamashita's gold, the legendary World War II treasure. During World War II, Japanese forces looted immense riches, gold, jewels, and valuable artifacts. Under General Tomoyuki Yamashita, much of that treasure was allegedly transported to the Philippines and hidden in underground tunnels, caves, and remote jungle sites. The operation, known as the Golden Lily, supposedly buried thousands of tons of treasure throughout the country. The plan was to recover it after the war, but Japan surrendered before that could happen. Yamashita was captured and later executed, and many believe he took the secret with him. In 1971, a Filipino locksmith named Rogelio Roxas claimed to have discovered one of the hidden sites near Baguio. Inside, he said he found a golden Buddha and crates filled with gold bars. Days later, agents linked to President Ferdinand Marcos seized the treasure. Roxas was arrested and allegedly tortured. Years later, a Hawaiian court recognized his discovery, but the full extent of what he found was never confirmed. Some researchers claim the US secretly recovered part of the treasure and used it to fund covert operations during the Cold War. Others say it's still out there, buried and protected by deadly traps. Is Yamashita's gold a real wartime treasure, or a legend built to hide something even bigger? Let me know in the comments. Flight 19, the Bermuda Triangle Mystery. On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy bombers took off from Florida on a routine training mission. The weather was calm and the pilots were experienced, but a few hours later, they disappeared without a single trace. The mission, known as Flight 19, quickly turned into one of the greatest aviation mysteries of all time. Radio transmissions from the squadron revealed growing panic. The flight leader reported failing instruments, spinning compasses, and a strange shifting sky. A rescue plane was sent to find them. It also vanished. In total, 6 aircraft and 14 men disappeared. No wreckage was ever found. The incident happened inside what would later be called the Bermuda Triangle, a region between Florida, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda, known for other unexplained disappearances of ships and planes. Official explanations pointed to human error, bad navigation, or sudden storms, but those answers didn't convince everyone. Some believe there's something abnormal in that region: magnetic fields, time distortions, or secret military experiments. Others suggest extraterrestrial interference. Even today, with satellites and underwater drones, no trace of Flight 19 has ever been recovered. Nazi submarines in Argentina. On July 10, 1945, 2 months after Germany had officially surrendered, the German submarine U-530 surfaced near Mar del Plata, Argentina. It raised immediate suspicion. The war was over. So what was a Nazi submarine doing on the other side of the Atlantic? The crew surrendered peacefully, but the commander refused to explain their mission. The sub had no flags, missing documents, and part of its crew was unaccounted for. Just weeks later, another German submarine, U-977, arrived at the same location. Coincidence? Rumors began to spread. Were these subs transporting high-ranking Nazis? Perhaps even Hitler himself? Argentina, under Juan Perón, was already known to have ties with ex-Nazis. After the war, many fugitives found refuge there, often with false identities and forged papers. Some theories claimed that the submarines had delivered gold, classified documents, or even advanced Nazi technology before surrendering. But no physical evidence was ever found. Officially, both U-boats were said to have simply fled and surrendered late. But the timing, the secrecy, and Argentina's role as a post-war haven continue to raise questions. Did Hitler really die in the bunker? On April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler supposedly took his own life inside a bunker in Berlin. According to official reports, he died alongside Eva Braun, ending the Nazi regime. But there's a problem. No one ever presented solid, public proof of his death. The only remains allegedly recovered were fragments of bone and dental material collected by the Soviets. These were never shown to the public, and for decades, the USSR refused to give clear details about what was found. That silence fueled suspicions. After the war, the FBI and other agencies opened secret investigations into the possibility that Hitler had escaped. Hundreds of eyewitnesses claimed to have seen someone who looked like him in Argentina, Paraguay, and even Brazil. The FBI still holds declassified files about these reports. We now know that the Nazis built escape routes to South America, and many high-ranking officers used them successfully. So, why not Hitler? In 2009, DNA tests on the skull fragment once said to be Hitler's revealed it belonged to a woman under 40, not him. Most historians still believe he died in the bunker, but the inconsistencies, Soviet secrecy, and lack of evidence keep the mystery alive. Foo Fighters, Strange Lights in the Sky. During World War II, strange reports began to emerge from both sides of the conflict. Allied and Axis pilots described glowing spheres that appeared suddenly in the skies, often following their aircraft at high speed before vanishing without a trace. These lights were nicknamed Foo Fighters, a slang term used for anything bizarre or unexplained. The reports came from different regions, mainly over Europe. Pilots described orange, red, or silver spheres that sometimes flew in formation, and other times moved in ways no known aircraft could replicate. Despite following the planes, the objects never attacked. At the time, two main theories emerged. One suggested they were secret German weapons, using advanced technology beyond anything the Allies had seen. But German pilots, too, reported identical encounters and believed the orbs were Allied technology. The other proposed something more mysterious, that the lights were not from this world. Governments gave no official explanation. Most dismissed the sightings as illusions or weather phenomena. But years later, declassified documents and testimonies from former officers confirmed that the events were real and taken seriously by military intelligence. Some believe both the Axis and the Allies thought the objects belonged to the enemy, which only deepened the mystery. Until today, the true nature of the Foo Fighters remains unexplained. Operation High Jump. In 1947, just 2 years after World War II, the United States launched a massive military expedition to Antarctica. The mission was called Operation High Jump. It involved 13 ships, 33 aircraft, and over 4,000 personnel. Officially, it was described as a training exercise in extreme conditions, but the scale of the operation raised questions. Why such a large force for a simple training mission? And why was it suddenly cut short just a few months after it began? The mystery grew when Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd, the mission's leader, made cryptic remarks to Chilean newspapers, suggesting the U.S. might face threats from aircraft that could fly pole to pole at incredible speeds. Some believe the Nazis had built a secret base in Antarctica during the war, known as Base 211, where they escaped after 1945, bringing with them advanced technology and scientists. There are documented German expeditions to Antarctica before the war, and sightings of German submarines in the region after it ended. To this day, the full story remains classified.